Hi everyone, I'm Shweta Bhatia, registered dietitian with the Indian Dietetic Association and the founder at Mind Your Fitness. This video covers guidelines for those recovering from the COVID-19 infection. I see many videos on the internet that talk about kadhas and simple home-cooked food. What comprises that home-cooked food is important. Is it providing sufficient, good quality protein, adequate vitamins and minerals? Is it increasing your waistline, throwing your sugar out of balance, making your diarrhea worse? Few aspects that need to be kept in mind are managing complications such as hypertension, diabetes, kidney, cardiac involvement, diarrhea, loss of taste and smell, difficulty in breathing and swallowing, especially those who may have been intubated during hospitalization. We now know that COVID is an inflammatory condition that can have lasting effects for up to months after discharge, affecting different organs. So let's look at the first point when it comes to the diet, that is calories. Calories must be provided depending on whether the patient is underweight or overweight. Obese patients are more prone to pneumonia and cardiac stress. We have to ensure healthy fat loss and lean mass maintenance. Second point is about protein. Now, obviously, this is indicated as top priority, increasing the supplementation of branched-chain amino acids to 50% to prevent muscle loss and enhance the strength of the respiratory muscles. Whey protein is the ideal choice if the budget permits, at least for the first 2 to 3 weeks. If not, fresh curd, paneer or thoroughly cooked eggs can be given depending upon the patient's meal preference and digestive function. Third point is about carbohydrates. Now, the total must not exceed around 150 grams per day, because it leads to the production of equal amount of carbon dioxide, which we call as respiratory quotient, and it must be avoided to decrease the respiratory distress. If the patient is diabetic or on steroids, then she or he have to be monitored closely for episodes of glucose highs and lows, and the medication needs to be adjusted. Persistent high glucose is an effect of infection and can also delay your recovery. So opt for pulses, dairy and vegetables over grains. Reduce the intake of gluten, fruits and avoid fruit juices. Milk to be avoided when the stools are loose. Coming to fat, now to maintain the calories, the proportion of fat can be increased, giving priority to the use of medium chain and omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s play a major role in immune response and reduce inflammation. We can use coconut oil, butter, ghee, nuts, MCT oil, olive oil, rice bran oil and groundnut oil can be used for cooking as well. Multivitamins and minerals are needed with emphasis on adequate vitamin B, C, D, zinc and selenium. Anemia should be treated if present. Steroids cause a deficiency of vitamin D and affect your bone mass over time. Coming to immunonutrients, now these are specific compounds shown to have a considerable influence on immune function. Most important here is glutamine, which supports both the immune and the digestive system. Coming to probiotics, now the alteration of healthy gut bacteria occurs as a result of infection as well as with treatment with antibiotics. This drives the inflammation further. So supplements can help restore the gut bacteria, but they need to be prescribed by a doctor in this case. It's important in the management of diarrhea as well. Coming to fluids and salts, now fever and loose motions are associated with dehydration. Thin buttermilk, soups, coconut water, of course if there is a potassium restriction it has to be avoided. Salted lemon water and ORS can be used. For cardiac and kidney patients, the total volume of fluid and sodium along with other electrolytes have to be restricted. Your physician and dietitian will guide you with this. Coming to the meal frequency and consistency. Now, if the patient's dry cough and sore throat is severe, solid food intake may decrease. So warm, soft foods and supplements can be used. Small frequent feeds would be better if the appetite is less and the timing of fluid consumption should be in between meals. Coming to exercise. Now, prolonged homestay may lead to a drop in muscle mass. ICU patients suffer the most amount of muscle loss. Breathing exercises can be initiated under guidance. Once the patient is stable and the physician gives a clearance, strengthening exercises must also be added in a graded fashion as per the tolerance, monitoring the vitals. Finally, patients and their families may need support with their mental health as well. So seek counseling from licensed mental health professionals. We have launched a comprehensive COVID rehab plan that covers nutrition, training and mental health support. This service can be availed at home. Hope you found this information useful. Take care and stay strong. Be safe.